Hello, fellas. Welcome back to your favorite show with Josh. I'm your host, Josh, and today we have a bit of a story time, a bit of a tell. Today we are telling the story about a time not too long ago, back in October, during my elusive Japan trip, when me and my buddy Tony went a little too hard in Tokyo and ended up going missing for 3 hours. Now, how does this all start? Disclaimer! Everything that has happened in this story happened in Minecraft in a hypothetical alternate universe. So this story takes place on a random Sunday. So me and my buddy Tony planned on going to Japan for like a few months, like 6 months at this point. In October we went. Day 3, I think. Yeah, day 3 of this journey. We made our way to Kabukicho, which is, if y'all don't know, is the real life Kamurocho from Yakuza, the Like a Dragon series, right? But after 3 days, I was low-key a little burnt out, just like walking around. I felt like a fish out of water, right? And I didn't know what to do. We kind of just sat around and like took in the sight, and we were just sitting there doing nothing. And like I just got an idea, right? I was like, what if? Hear me out. I looked at Tony. I was like, hear me out. What if we go get a drink? Right? And he looked at me and he was like, I'll be down. And there was one place we really wanted to go to. One very special place. Y'all probably seen it before. The Trent twins went there. Everyone's been there. Like if any, like, think about any popular YouTuber who's been in Japan, they went to this place. It is an establishment that serves you alcohol while buff girls beat you up and do bench presses and shit. So we wanted to go there. So the game plan was to take the train up to Ikebukuro and get plastered, right? That was the goal. That was the plan. That's what we were going to do. So yeah, let's flash forward. We make it at Ikebukuro. We go into the bar. Oh no, we needed an appointment. Apparently, because they how this place works, that they had like different sessions going on, so everyone had like a communal experience. We did not have a reservation, so we had to make one for an hour and a half later, right? So we had to wait an hour and a half at Ikebukuro. Now, what was the best thing to do in Ikebukuro? We decided to go to an arcade where we lost about 20 USD on this one weird coin pusher where like you would put yen in it and it would push like candy off of the thing. It was like a weird machine, but there was like a big stack of chocolate bars that I really wanted, and I tried so desperately to get it. I wasted like 20 bucks on it. Here's a photo of it. So depressing. I couldn't get these. So depressing. After a while of just loitering, doing nothing, molding, we finally got in line. And everybody who goes to this Muscle Girl bar, it is the exact clientele you think it is. Like, it's just a bunch of Americans and foreigners in line here. This was like the only place where everybody spoke fluent English, which was nice. Because like we haven't talked. Besides Tony, like I didn't talk to anybody. Like it kind of got to me how depressing it was, because like it was only Tony, and then like sometimes I get bored and I want to like talk to someone else, and it's like I can't go to the grocery store or I can't go to like the gas station, like shoot the shit with the gas station employee, because they go up to me and they hit me with like the 15-page dialogue tree, and I'm like, yeah, arigato, sumimasen. I only know 2 words, and it's sumimasen and arigato. Anyways, we make our way inside. And jeez, right? In Japan, they serve you, dude. They serve you, man. Like, I get in there. First thing I got was I think it was a lemon sour, and it's like a big pitcher. It's like one of those like comically large pitchers, like not pitchers, like mugs. It's like a comically large mug, just filled with soju and like other stuff to mix in, right? So it was kind of watered down, but it was still a lot, right? And like, I'm over here sipping on it, and the Muscle Girls do their thing. You like they like challenge you to do pull-ups and like do chest presses and stuff like that. It was cool. It was nice, you know. You could like pay to do different things. So like one of the things I bought, right? I paid for, because you know I gotta do it for the culture. You know, I had to do it for the culture. I I paid money for one of the muscle girls to slap the shit out of me. You gotta understand, everyone has done it. Everyone has done it in YouTube. You know, everyone on YouTube, if they've been to Japan, they've probably been to this bar, unless they're married or in a relationship. But for the most part, everybody got slapped. And I'm like, I gotta do it for the culture, right? So they put like this earmuff on my head to like protect my ears from like bursting. And this girl, dude, this lady, she slapped the fuck out of me, dude. Like, I remember it felt like she broke a baseball bat on my head, dude. It was insane. I was like, God. And I got back to my chair. I drank a whiskey on the rocks. It was all right. You know, I felt like curious for a little bit, but I'm like, oh yeah, you know, but it also just tasted like shit. And after a while of drinking all these Coca-Colas and Sprites, cranberries, and all this delicious drinks, you know, I could feel it like start to get to me, like something was going on. And I was like sitting on the chair or thing, just like all loopy. I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm gone, dude. Like, I am not fully there, right? And I was having a good time. It was funny. My buddy he got like a protein shot. They shoot like this syringe into your mouth of like tequila and protein, and they gave my buddy like 3 of them. And dude, my buddy Tony, he's such a lightweight, dude. This guy struggles to eat 5 wings, and they gave him 3 tequila shots, and I don't think he was not good after that. But yeah, we had a good time. And then time came around, and they're like, all right, everybody, you gotta head out. And we got out of there. And ooh, dude, that was probably the funniest, like, the funniest 5 minutes in Tokyo, was just like walking around the streets of Ikebukuro. Like, it felt so uncanny, because like, just like that environment, like the atmosphere, like we were uncomfortably wasted, right? And we're just like walking through this foreign city and just like admiring everything, laughing at shit, just like stumbling, you know. And it was just so much fun. Like, I had so much fun here. We ended up going to a train station, and my buddy Tony, he's like, bro, I gotta piss bad, bro. And I'm like, yeah, me too, man. And like the first part of this quest was to find a bathroom. So we go into the train station, and I asked the lady, and there's a piece of advice I've heard on like Instagram and TikTok, is that like when you're stranded and you need to ask a question in Japanese, but you don't speak Japanese, you just gotta ask the English question in a Japanese accent. So I went up to her and I'm like, sumimasen, toiletu? I probably butchered the fuck out of that. But she was like, toiletu, and she like pointed at the bathroom, and I was like, yeah, thank you so much, you know? Like, arigato, and then I like stumbled my way across this mall, found the bathroom, successfully used it, and I was like, you know what? I feel so accomplished. I can't wait to get back home and just chill, watch some Japanese TV, you know, have a great rest of my night. And I look over at Tony, and I just see despair fall behind his eyes, dude. And out of nowhere, he looks at me, and he's like, oh no. And like, I look at him, and I just see his like face fill up, and I'm like, no, not here. Cause like, the thing about Japan is that it's a very respectful country. Like, it's one of those places where there's a lot of rules, a lot of unspoken rules socially. And I just didn't want to break them. I didn't want to seem like the dumbass foreigner who decided to like who decided to just be a nuisance in Japan. Cause that's like a big issue. And that's like, what's really depressing, is that like a lot of people have become anti-tourists because of like bad actors. And like, when I looked over at my buddy, I just saw that he was just seconds away from projectile vomiting all over the train station. Like, this clean train, their stations are so clean, dude. And I just saw my buddy projectile vomit onto the floor. And I saw this, and instinctively, I'd stick my hands out in a bowl and try to catch the vomit. I don't know why, you know. I always witnessed a buddy do this whenever like they were out and about, and I always made fun of them. I'm like, why are you catching people's vomit in your hands? Like, just no point in doing that. Well, I was in that situation, and I was like, oh, no, fuck. So I stuck my hands, and I caught Tony's vomit in my hands. And I just looked at it, and like the consistency of it it's stuck in my mind, dude. Like, it was so grimy, and he just like throws up on the rest on the floor. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I looked around, dude. And I saw this like poor old lady like gasp, like, and this salary man to my left with a cell phone, he's like, oh, you know, and they were both like very disappointed in this. And like, there was nothing else I could do, you know. We were not in the right headspace, and the only thing we thought about doing was just getting out of there, right? We just had to get away. And I feel bad. I feel bad till this day about that. Like, why? I don't know. Because there's nowhere else you could vomit, you know? Like, I don't know. It was alright. It's alright. I feel bad about it, but it's alright, right? But at the time I didn't. I felt so scared, bro. Like, I felt terrified, man. So we like run into the crowd of people, because there's so many people like always in commute, right? That it's very easy to get lost in the crowd. So that's what we did. We got into the crowd, we paid our sukas, and we made our way through the station, and we hit a crossroad, right? Where like Apple Maps was like was my best friend during this trip, because it told me where to go. Like, it told me everywhere to go. Like, it told me like exactly what station to take, how many paces I need to take to get to this location. It was really good. So I put the location for our hotel in my phone, and it told me to take a left to go to like go to this line, go to like A line or something. And my buddy Tony's dumbass goes on Google, and he puts he thinks he puts the hotel. He puts something else. I don't know what the fuck he put, but he said we gotta take B line. And I'm like, nah, bro, trust me, A-line is gonna take us. He's like, no, bro, please do it for me, man, please. Please, bro, I need you to take the opposite direction. I need you to take the other train to the opposite direction, bro. You understand, bro. I want us to get lost, bro. I want us to get lost. And I'm like, come on, man. He's like, please. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And like, by the time we were in the train, I instantly got sober. I'm instantly sober. I'm like, god damn, this is so like, oh, this is so painful, dude. So we get on the B train, and I sit there and I look down on my phone. I had 7% on my iPhone, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, well, at least we're on the train home. I'll look up at the little like terminal above the the train doors. I'll look at the terminal above the train doors, and I see that we're heading towards the opposite direction of our hotel. Like, we're heading towards Akihabara when we should be heading towards we should be going north, right? And I'm like, oh no. And I look over at Tony, and he's blacked out. He's not blacked out. He's just sleeping. He's like he's hunched over, like almost passing out. This man was in a dream-like state. And I'm here. I'm like, damn, we're so fucked right now. It's legit fucked. So without my phone, I had to like figure out a way back home. Right? We need to head north, because that's the easiest way back home. So I get off of that train. I tell him, like, yeah, bro, you picked a weird. I told my friend Tony, I was like, yeah, you picked a weird route. And I got on the opposite train going back to where we were. And like, he sits down, and I'm just in despair. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is gonna be so bad. Like, this actually is terrible. And in that moment, I looked up. I saw the salaryman, and he had one arm above his head on a little rope, and he had his like suit jacket over his shoulder, his bag on his side, and he looked at me, and he gave me this look. He looked up at Tony, he looked up at me, and he gave me this look. I don't know how to explain. He like shrugged at me. He like shrugged and smiled, like, you know. He gave me that look of, oh, I've been there. And that guy's encouragement, dude. Like, that guy, I think that guy saved me in Japan, dude, because he looked at me and he reassured me with the one look. This guy didn't even speak English, bro. But he looked at me and he said, you know, like I've been there, like it's okay. And I don't know, just like, wow, if you're out in Japan, appreciate your salaryman. After the encouraging moment from the salary guy, we get off the train, and now I'm in a bigger predicament because I took us the wrong direction. We're still in the middle of nowhere. I have no phone. I only have an Apple Watch, right? The Apple Watch is the only thing that's like giving me directions. But as soon as my phone died, my Apple Watch map turned off too. So I have no way home. Cause I'm like, no, dude, no, man. I was shit out. Like I was SOL. It was terrible, dude. It was terrible. And like I got outside, Tony like the entire time, like going up and down stairs, it was like a mini game. Like I had to tell Tony like how when to put his foot up. So I was like, there'll be a staircase and I'll go up, 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 up. It's flat here, up, 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 right? And we did that about 7 times. Like I had him on my shoulder, like dragging him back to the hotel. And after like 30 minutes, it's almost been 2 hours since we left the. It's almost been 2 hours since we left the bar, right? And like I sit him down on this plant, like this like little like pathway on the sidewalk. There's like a not potted plant. On the sidewalk there's like the sidewalk of this train station, right? Like we're outside, we could see the stars. And like he proceeds to throw up in a plant, like on a bush. He just throws up on it and sits down. And I'm like, okay, I need to figure out a way back. And in my mind, I'm like, maybe I could talk to not an officer, like a train employee to ask like, how do I get back to Waterby? Because I had money, like I had yen. I just did not know what station to take or where to go. So I was like, maybe I'll go talk to someone. I go up to the help desk. It's closed. And then like I'm like, oh no. And then like I look around for like a plug to like charge my phone, because my phone was dead at this point. Like I had no charge. And I'm like, okay, well I gotta solve the Tony throwing up situation before I'm able to continue, right? Because that was like the main pressing thing in my mind. So I walk over to I walk over like across the street. I tell Tony like, sit here, I'll be right back. I walk over across the street to a grocery store named Beans. And it's a pretty big grocery store. It reminded me of Kroger, like any Kroger stores. It like is almost exactly like that, like almost exact layout, just with a bunch of Japanese products. And everything's in Japanese. And I go in line, I get to the cashier, and I ask him like, bag. And I did like the motion for a bag, and he's like, ah! And he hands me the bag, and like I looked up at the guy, and this guy was like, and I shit you not, like I looked up at this grocery store employee, and this guy was like a solid 10 out of 10 on the PSL score. He was a solid 10 out of 10 on the PSL score. Like this guy had like, I just noticed that the guy was like a 10 out of 10 on the PSL score, probably slaying Stacy's type shit. And like this Chad just gives me a bag, and I think I paid like 50 cents for it. It's something in yen. I didn't do the calculation. I gave him the yen, and I was like, arigato, and I ran out. I gave Tony his bag, and I just sat there, and I'm sitting there in despair, like, damn, like I don't know how I'm supposed to get back home. Like, it's the middle of the night. It is the middle of the night. I have no phone battery. I only have yen, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could get a taxi. So I go up to, I like go on the side, and I flag down a taxi, and this like, it was an Uber, right? It was an Uber taxi. I tried on the app. The app wasn't giving me any hits. So I saw a real life taxi, and I go up to him like, hey, taxi? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right. I turn around, I go to Tony. I'm like, all right, Tony, I got a taxi. And he looked up at Tony and said, and me and Tony said, no service. Like with his arms crossed. And like, I don't know. It was probably because Tony was plastered. But this guy refused their service. So that, we're SLO on that. Like, the guy literally parked for like 5 minutes, and he was like, no, he's not allowed in taxi. And I'm like, man, I was gonna tip you well, too. I was ready to give this guy like 10,000 yen, dude. Like, I was ready to drop a whole bando on this guy. But it's fine. Whatever. I get it, you know. Tony was plastered. And I came up with a plan B, right? Plan B was to go back into the train station, buy a ticket generally where Waterby is, and just figure it out from there, right? So I go up to like this little terminal, and dude, Japan's train terminal, like the old ones, are so weird because it's all in Japanese, and like they don't charge you for like your you can't buy a ticket like normally on the screen. You can't buy a ticket to your to the station you want to go to. You buy a ticket for how much money you want to spend. Like I don't know. Like here's a screenshot of what the screen looked like. It was so weird. Like I don't know. So I just like picked like the most expensive option, and like hope for the best, right? So I got the ticket. I got Tony. He was able to use a Suica. My Suica was off because I just didn't have access to it. And we get on the train, and we're heading back. We're hopefully heading back home, right? And we finally make it back to like this like hub, this like train station hub that like we've used millions of times. And I'm like, oh, thank God, we're like 20 minutes away from getting back home. And I reuse my ticket. I put my ticket in the thing, and it eats it. It eats my ticket. And I'm like, what? What happened to my ticket? So we better have been going, like in this moment, I was like, we better be going in the right direction or I'm fucked. Like I'm done. Like I can't do anything else, you know? Like if I get stranded, I'm like, that's it, right? On hindsight, I could probably buy another ticket. But still, like I spent a lot of money on that. It was the most expensive option. I'm pretty sure I could have gone to the place without spending that much money. But whatever. It was an emergency. I lose my ticket in the machine. It eats it, and I'm like, okay. Hopefully this is the right spot. I buy some Pocari Sweat. I give some to my buddy. I'm like, here, man, you should drink this. I drink some myself. I drink some Pocari Sweat myself. We get on the train, last train home. I'm like breathing a sigh of relief. Like this entire time I have no phone, so I'm like, there's no music, no nothing. Like usually I'm on my phone, like scrolling shorts and shit when I'm like out and about. But here it was like bare minimum. I can't die. I had to just keep going or I will die. So like we get off the train and we're in like the station area, and I find a trash can, right? And I was gonna throw away my this old bottle of Pocari Sweat I had, and I was like, oh, isn't it disrespectful to throw away like a full bottle of like a full drink? So I like do like the most American Gaijin thing ever, right? I open up the bottle and I start dumping it on the concrete, and then like midway through the like me dumping this liquid on the floor, I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that like also disrespectful? So I like stop doing that and I just throw the bottle away. And I'm like, I feel kind of embarrassed because I'm like, hopefully no one saw me do that, because like that's very embarrassing. Like that's kind of like the most asshole thing I could probably do is dump a whole bottle of Pocari Sweat on the floor. And like I walk away. I go like up these stairs, and I see a guy going down the stairs as I go up them. And I turn around and I see this like Japanese guy look at me, and he goes to he puts his hand up to wave me down, right? And like I'm not in a situation to talk to him. I couldn't talk to him, right? So I got away. I ran away, and the last thing I saw was this Japanese man trying to wave me down for being a dickhead in this train station, pouring out this drink. And like we get up the stairs, we get out of the station. Thankfully they did not need my ticket. And like it's home stretch now. We just gotta walk down the road and get to the hotel. And like in front of there was a McDonald's in front of the station, right? And tell me why Tony's like, oh bro, I might throw up again in the McDonald's. And I'm like, no bro, do not fucking do that. Do not throw up in front of the McDonald's. We were literally 2 minutes away from the hotel. He's like, all right. So I take him up to the hotel. I take him down the road, down the alley, into the hotel. I lock the fuck in. I get the key. I go up to her room, and we're finally home free, bro. And Tony like gets into the room. We both drop our bags. He had like when I caught his vomit, I rubbed the excess onto his backpack and shirt. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't want to walk around with vomited hands. So I low key just like I smeared the vomit all over his stuff. He didn't care afterwards. Yeah. He's like fuck it, I'm just gonna go to sleep, man. I'm like, nah bro, fuck you need to wash your hands. He's like, I don't need to wash my hands. I'm like, bro, you need to wash your hands. And he's like, all right, you're right. So he goes to wash his hands, and like I just collapsed on the floor, bro. Like I was so exhausted at this point. I fell down and just like I was so happy. I was so happy to be in this hotel, dude. Because we're out of the street finally after 3 hours of just going across the city, dude. Going in opposite directions to Tokyo. I finally made it home. And I was like, thank God. Thank you, God, for letting me get back home safely. This is so good, you know. I felt so accomplished, dude. I felt so accomplished. And that's when I decided, I'm like, as soon as Tony goes to sleep, I'm go get a burger. I'm gonna go to McDonald's and I'm gonna get a burger, right?